I want to thank everybody for being here. As far as an overview, 4 weeks in, offensively, kind of chasing consistency really in all phases. Um, we have shown improvement from week to week in certain phases, which is fun to see. Um, Now heading into a bye week, huge for us. Time on task is a real thing in offense, especially in a passing game, and the timing and the precision that it takes. And and this is an advanced system, so it's going to be a huge week for us to get our starters more reps, our twos more reps, our threes more reps. So today was a great day. I can't wait to get out there tomorrow to work a little bit further with these guys. So. The guys are competing at a high level. I think everyone's doing a good job blocking for each other, quarterbacks included. Last week we got involved in one, which is great, and so we're excited about that. Excited to just continue to try to improve in all phases. Passing game being the biggest one. That's probably the hardest one. The amount of precision it takes is not easy. We didn't get much of a spring. Cade wasn't there, Sully wasn't there, Luke, I think practiced 1 or 2 days. Gail wasn't here, and Reese was going to senior prom. So we started this about 8 weeks ago, and we're still going, and they're working hard. So I'm excited about where it's headed. I will open it up for questions.
Hey Tim,
Hey.
West Coast One Register. Kind of curious how the first and goal package came about, either in your head or meetings, etc. And how do you get Kate Pieper out there? How do you get envision getting Brendan Sullivan out there? And to build on that, like what do you feel like the next steps are for that package? That seems to be working pretty well so far.
Yeah, it's been scratch where it itches. We were struggling inside the five. I mean, it is what it is. I do envision what I want it to look like when we get down there. In the meantime, we got to be efficient. So adding a running quarterback into the mix was going to help. A couple of the things that happened early on with some dent on the backside of a play, putting a bigger guy in there like Pete. I've done that a lot of places I've been, and we switched it up from week one to week two. Don't really know what the next there'll be another iteration. It's just what is it going to be? But just get the guys love it. The more people we get out there, everyone gets excited and they're ready to go, and everyone's supporting one another. And I think when Sully scored, Cade was the first one celebrating with him. So it's they all just want to get better every day. It's been fun. The fun is in the work, and our guys have been enjoying the different things we've been trying to do to just, problems are going to come and go. We're going to get better at things as we go, but, making sure we fix them as fast as possible, or, be able to change our mentality to give ourselves a better chance once we figure out that for whatever reason we're struggling, at certain areas. And early on inside the 10 we were, and we've been better. It doesn't mean it's over. It just means it's been better. And so we're going to continue to try new things to give ourselves a better opportunity.
John Sept, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Haven't had much of a deep threat recently. Is that kind of a nice strategy in terms of playing to your quarterback strengths, or is that something you're still trying to kind of develop?
Yeah, we're definitely still developing it. I had a couple really good ones last weekend that we didn't call because the way the game was playing out. I wanted to call it multiple times. I did bring it up in a group forum. I got voted down a couple times. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, the better we run the ball, the easier it is to be explosive, right? And so we've been repping our play pass game. Our boot game has been successful here recently because of our run game. Um, so yeah, we have a whole package in there, and we have different people who are moving around to try to find them where they belong. We hit a couple early. We missed one. It was like game two. We had one down. We just didn't throw it, and so that's a huge part of this offense, And did we call one last week? I thought we did. We called one early. We ended up checking down. We called another one. We ended up checking down. We had him ready in the third and fourth quarter. It's just the way the game was being played. Like I said, I've called a game where I've called 70 passes, and I've called a game where I've called 70 runs. We were just running the ball at a really high level, and we had a lead, and we just chose not to take that risk.
Tom Kaker, Sports.
Hey, Tom.
How would you assess Cade 4 games in terms of what he's doing well, what you want to see him in terms of growth?
This is going to go against the popular opinion. I actually think last game was one of his best games. Everything is about your feet. and timing in a passing game, and it was one of his best games last game. Now we weren't. I had him, I think, at 11 to 13. I know you guys probably had him higher than that. I know he had 2 drops. We had 2 great reads, great throws. Routes weren't run right. We had a 1 throwaway. I called a bad play. He threw it away, which was a good decision. And then we had 1 batted where he was going. It's important for you to look at those things, right, as a quarterback coach. There's sometimes they throw a ball that was about to be picked, and you're happy that it got batted. And then there's times they're going right where they were supposed to go, when they were supposed to go there, and it just happened to get batted, right? Because we had a guy open right behind there for a first down, So I was very impressed with his feet. That's what I grade. Can you operate this offense on time? That was his issue in week 2. That probably his worst game as far as his footwork goes, which when your feet aren't set, you're not an accurate thrower of the ball. So I really thought he played a pretty good game on Saturday. He got us in and out of blocking schemes, changed the mic points all the time. He re-racked one from when they slid the front. And so I felt like he did actually one of his best games was last weekend. Throwing the ball, throwing it where we wanted. A couple of the routes weren't run exactly like they're supposed to be, but I would have thrown it exactly the same place. So that's part of the growing pains, and part of the growing pains and the growing process is that's what I have to grade to make sure that he's going. So I really think he's getting better. He's getting more comfortable. Early on, it was like, hot and cold. I think he struggled a little bit in week 2 with his feet, better in week 3, and against the defense that had really made every quarterback they've gone against made him look, scared. I thought he did a really good job of getting rid of the ball. I think there was one decision that I would have done something different, that I wish he would have gone somewhere else, and that was his 1 sack that he took. And but other than that, as far as running our offense, the timing of the pass game, all the things that he's in charge of at the line of scrimmage for the run game, I wanted to see it all come along. Obviously, so does everybody else. But I was very happy with last game, as far as grading him as a quarterback coach.
Thanks for your time today.
No problem.
You have the nation's leading rusher in the backfield led by nearly 100 yards. And for as much as you and the rest of the coaches sort of talked about what the offensive identity was going to be this season, we didn't really hear we're going to have the most productive running back in the nation for 4 weeks. When did you realize that you had sort of something special in the backfield with Caleb Johnson in particular?
I think you notice Caleb is a special athlete the moment you meet him. The first time you see him run, the combination of size and speed and balance and physicality is rare. My biggest question for him was just going to be learning how to see the mid zone run game, and it took a while. He was trying to pick and choose his holes and not just letting the thing develop. There's a certain amount of patience to this run game, and he was determined. Now we watched film together. We kind of went through this summer, went through all the spring games or all the spring runs, and kind of where he aborted mission too early, and when he, the one he ended up, they merged the 3 technique on an inside zone and stopped him, and he had to go out the back door and ended up getting the people in front of him, and he ended up scoring on one. He still missed a couple cuts. I asked him on the field today, and he rattled off the 2 that I should have held the line. I could have got out the front door. So that part, as soon as I knew, as soon as he could find the holes and understand the vision and the timing of this thing, because the talent is there, right? He's been working hard. He shows up I don't think there's been a day he's on the field that he's not going 100 miles an hour. And so it's fun to watch a guy who's been so focused on learning this system and what to do, watch him get to where he needs to be. And then there's a point in every play where it's like, okay, now you're gifted. Go do your thing. I got to get him to the right place first. And he definitely has been gifted in that arena and has done some unbelievable things leading our team and turning some runs that should have been, probably tackles for loss and turn them into big plays. And then there's sometimes he's not even touched for 20 yards, and he always gives credit to those linemen and the receivers. The receivers are doing one heck of a job coming in and blocking for him and putting the defense in some tough spots. So it's been fun, really, ever since he started picking up this run game. I thought we had pretty good player. We got a couple other good ones in the room too. It's just fun to watch him, kind of put it all together and have success. And he's still working hard and humble, and that's what'll keep him there.
Scott. Hi, Tim. Scott Donovan with The Athletic. It seems like the passing games, I kind of call it like an extended feeling out process. because of not only your new system, but Cade wasn't there until August. Jacob Gill was.
There's like a long list. Like, you want them alphabetically? How do you? Because there's a lot of reasons. Yeah.
Injuries,
Yeah.
not on campus, going to prom, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, how have you been able to work through this, through the first 4 games, and where do you see it kind of going and molding in what direction? Because you talked way in the very beginning about you wanted to make sure you figure out what works best for this offense, not just necessarily what you would want to do.
Yes.
And how close are you to kind of getting the passing game to where you think it can be an asset?
That's a good question. I mean, after last week, I think we're closer than it looks. Let's put it that way. I mean, I'm a math major. I can look at numbers. But I do think we're getting every single time. I mean, we did a couple things last week that we hadn't done yet, as far as receiver-wise, seeing a coverage, understanding where to sit down. But then we missed a couple, and the couple we missed were big ones. There's one that would have gone a long way, and the quarterback saw it, progressed on time, ripped it in the hole, and there's no one there because we didn't run the route correctly in that coverage, and so that's really a huge emphasis this week, because this is a week where we can hopefully bridge that gap faster than other weeks, because we got to get everything oiled up every week, for our opponent. But this week there is no opponent, so opponent is us, so we are trying to speed the curve up as much as humanly possible. And I do think Reese is coming along. I think Jacob's coming along. I do think, watching Dayton and Bowie get involved the last couple weeks has been fun. Caleb's coming along. Caleb's still feeling out some of the timings of some of the routes, and once he does, we know he can make plays, So it's just fun to watch. Everyone's kind of working on themselves, and as the pieces come along, I think we're going to be able to be more explosive as long as we stay on time. That was probably my most important thing. I mean, if you're in the quarterback room, we talk about Kirk Cousins all the time. I loved him. I recruited him. We were his only offer this long time ago. And he's one of my favorites. And he plays the game on time. And there's not a ton flashy about him, but he's a pretty darn good quarterback because he can efficiently run an offense. And so we're getting closer to that point, And so I think it's one of those things, you never know how close you are until you keep swinging. And you can't hide from it either. I bluntly say it to the guys all the time about what we need to work on, and we show the film and we watch the Packers do it, the Rams do it, ourselves do it sometimes, and then on Saturday we missed it, or we run an out route, which happened in the game, and instead of flattening, we kind of fade the out route. We threw it right where we should have been an easy 10-yard gain, and it's an incompletion. And now we're 2nd and 10. So they just got to know we're going to keep calling it. We're going to be aggressive with it, and but hopefully sooner than later. I wish I knew exactly when it was going to click, and probably when it clicks, it's going to go forwards and back. It's going to be one of these. The fun part is in the work. The guys are showing up. They know it. They know when their feet are right. They know when their routes are right, and the sooner they acknowledge it, then it normally tends to be fixed really quickly. And our offensive line's doing the same thing. I know there's times where we're getting our angles right and we're opening up huge holes, but early on in the game, our angles weren't very good. We were too flat on a couple plays, and it's fun to watch them. They're older. They correct things by the second half, and we're not correcting things that fast in the passing game yet. But every single time we have a chance to get out there, I feel like we're getting a little bit better. And that's why, looking at the stats, I was excited about the timing of our passing game. And I didn't use it much in the second half because I felt like the game didn't dictate that, even though I really wanted to. But I was actually pretty happy with what we were doing protection-wise, coverage-wise. Watching that defense play against other teams, I was interested to see if we could, handle ourselves in a tight pocket, because they were big and they were getting after quarterbacks week in and week out, and we made a big emphasis on the timing, and I thought Kate did a really good job. We didn't get the ton of stats with that because we never went back to it because we didn't need to. But I have a lot more confidence after this week than I did after last week, or definitely after Iowa State.
We got 5 more in queue. We'll start with Owen.
Owen Stephen from KGAN. I want to kind of do a follow-up on the passing game and ask
Yeah.
specifically about Caleb Brown, because
Yeah.
at the end of last year he was, maybe considered maybe the best pass catcher on the team. Was not injured, and you haven't seen a lot of him. Only 3 targets this year, 1 catch.
Yep.
Is there a reason that we just haven't seen more involvement out of him? Has it been struggling to learn the new playbook, or why we haven't seen a little bit more of him?
No, I think he's really just getting to understand the timing of the game. You know, we've had him targeted a couple times that he just hasn't run the route quite like we needed him to. And he's one of those kids that today was probably his best day. You know, he's really starting to get in it. We got to find ways to get him the ball, but he has to understand in order to be one of our, you know, I'd like to build this thing where we have 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that can run a route and catch a ball, and he needs to be one of those guys. But he has to continue to working on all the little things and the technique and the detail. Because the passing game, if he takes one step too many, that ball is out. I need the ball out of the quarterback's hands before the receiver's looking at it. So we better know exactly what you're going to do. If you're going to take those 2 extra steps, it's going to look like we don't know what we're doing. And if you just turn out, there's a hole over there, you know. So that's his main issue. And when he's on time, man, when he catches the ball, do you see the way he punctured vertical? I mean, that part is natural. So we have a couple things to get him the ball, but he's just really got to work on his fundamentals. Really, all the young wideouts need to work on that too. But his fundamentals, when he gets it right, we need him to continue to get better as he goes, you know. And so I'm excited because I do see hands-wise, like the guy makes one-handed catches at practice all the time, and he's blocking really physically right now, which I've been really proud of. So we got to continue to grow his role in the offense without a doubt.
Tim, LA Club Hawkeye Beacon. Talking about the passing game, it seems that the running game and for the offensive line, they've really been getting some push.
Yeah.
Things are going well there. How do you translate that to the passing game? It seems like opposing teams have been dialing up the pressure on Cade keeping off the spot. So how do you translate that to passing?
Well, it's when you can run the ball, the question is like, you know, what runs are hitting, so you can build your play pass game off of that. What boots are working? Obviously, depending on the run, you can build a boot off of it. You know, so that's the easy part. You know, as far as these are the runs that we're hitting, and these are the play pass and the movements that we want off of that. As far as the drop back passing game, you know, we just have to be better. You know, we have to be more precise with everything we do. But I thought we knew going into this game the run and the movements were going to be big. And we had more movements in the game plan than we had in any other week. We had more play pass in that had been any other week. After watching them play their first couple games, I think they were giving up 6 points a game, and it was like playing the 85 Bears. I said it all week, like we're playing the 85 Bears by the numbers, you know. And so we had a little bit more boot and play pass because that's easier to build. And the pass game, you know, quarterbacks had been accosted, and it never people hadn't got a chance to really even see what areas of the field you can hit because the quarterback's normally running for his life back there, you know. So credit to them. We did some things protection-wise to protect a little bit more. What we thought was more solid, they made an adjustment and pressured us off the weak side, which we made our adjustment again. You know, they got us hot one time because we were just trying to give space for the quarterback to be efficient, and I thought we did that. We didn't cash in on it, which I wish we would have. And we didn't go to the play pass because the run and the boots were working so well. So I think you just continue. It's good to have one thing you can count on, and you got to be able to count on it every week, which is hard to do when they know you can do it. But every team I've ever been on every good team I've ever been around has tendencies where they say we're going to run this play here, and they can still do it. You know, and we got to find what that thing is and do it, and then we got to build that kind of mentality in play passing and boot and in the drop back game. But I am happy with the way our guys are blocking, the way we're running the ball. It's been helping us in situations, you know, be efficient and put points on the board. Maybe not the way we want to do it right now, but the job is to put them up one way or the other, you know, and that's what we've been able to do. But we'll get better and hopefully put up more when we start having more things we can do well.
KG, and just wondering how the conversations are and how it comes with Cade in game, especially you're in the box, he's on the field, and quarterback's talking shotgun with defense.
It's been fun. There's some stuff we've been able to do that I've never had I've made some checks at the line of scrimmage, which I've always thought I say it out loud, but he never hears it. And I'm like, I can hit this button. Hey, can this? You know what I mean? Like it happened on the Hail Mary. I was like, oh, I had a different protection on, and I was hoping they wouldn't put 2 off the front side edge, and they did. And I was like, shit. And I was like, wait a minute. Hey, 3-jet. Go check the 3-jet. And boom, we changed the protection. You know, so there's some things that we're picking up that it's been fun. Really just to keep him calm and to talk through things he might have seen, because sometimes you're going through a progression, you don't see what happens on the backside, and hopefully he did what I told him to do front side, but I can kind of hit it and be like, hey, on the backside there, next time we call this play, you know, we have a counter play to it. It'll be there, you know. So It's been really good. I still have a headset in between that we can talk where I can hear him, other than the hands. The first time we had one time where he couldn't hear me. I was glitchy or something. We had to take a time. I think it's the first drive of the game. We wasted a timeout. So that's the only time it's really become an issue. Other than that, all he does is to tell me to, talk calmer. Because when I scream, it gets really hard to hear. So I have to stay calm, and which I'm pretty calm on game day anyway. But sometimes I start screaming like the no huddle, like when I'm trying to go tempo. For some reason, it sounds better when you say it louder. I'm like, I'm like bolt, bolt, bolt. And I should just say run bolt. But I have a tendency to scream, and he's like, Coach, stop screaming. I can't understand you when you scream. I'm like, I'm sorry. So we're getting better at it, but it's a huge advantage for this offense in this system to be able to do it. I don't know how you do it without it.
David Eichel, Hawkeyes, Tim, Caleb Johnson is averaging about 10.5 yards a carry against stacked boxes, has 6 touchdowns, 21 carries. What's kind of allowed you guys to have success against a stacked box? They know it's coming, but the offensive line's getting a good push with Caleb breaking a couple tackles. But I was just kind of curious what your assessment has been. How have you guys been able to do that, even though they know it's coming?
Yeah, it's interesting when you say stacked boxes because you're right. But we also run different formations than most teams. I mean, we're in a stacked formation, if you could call it that. I mean, our wideouts are involved now. I mean, they're right there to handle a stacked box. A lot of times you don't see some of the spacing, which is kind of natural in our offense, and which does make the passing game a little bit more difficult. It actually makes it better once our guys figure it all out. There's the same amount of space out there no matter how we line up, right? Lining up a little bit tighter does help our run game. It helps our receivers get involved in those stack boxes, and those corners are going to have to be ready to make some tackles, because of some of the stuff our receivers have been able to do. It also changes. It's not a normal spread passing game, so the throws are a little different. Sometimes visually it looks a little different for the quarterback. They just got to get comfortable with it because there's the same amount of space regardless. And in some cases, being in a condensed set can help because the defense is not used to having a corner that's tilted at a 45. He normally uses the sideline for help, but the sideline's 20 yards away. So when we turn out, you got to go guard us for 20 more yards, So there's definitely some things that help. Now, we haven't been taking advantage of a ton of those things yet. But the run game, our sets have really, obviously our O-line and our tight ends have done a phenomenal job. Our assistants, have done George and Bud and Abdul and Liddell. They've done an unbelievable job of helping each guy grow and get better. But we've been doing a good job blocking, but by our sets, we have some things that naturally make it a little bit easier. It's never easy, but it makes it easier.
Last two, Jack and Matt.
Hi, Tim.
Hey.
Jack with Case here. Pardon me for dancing around the same question that John and Doc asked, but when it comes
Third
to
time's a charm. Let's go.
When it comes to balance between the run and pass game,
Yeah.
are you satisfied with your play calling balance through the first 4 games? And how do you kind of, as an offensive coordinator, work around the chicken and egg problem of you want to be able to run the ball, like you said in the preseason, to establish the pass, but also you want to prove that you can pass the ball,
Yeah.
maybe take a linebacker or a safety out of the box?
Yeah. Well, by alignment, they're probably going to be in the box anyway, number one. But two, the hardest thing I think is I've been very happy with our exploratory. Like we have a script, right? Everyone starts the game with a script. My script got a little bit out of control last week. It had 15 plays on it. People think you just roll through those first 15 plays. That's not how it works because there's not third down calls on there. So you go first, second, and then you got to go to third down. And then you got to go first, second, and then you go to third down. And then you get in the red zone and you flip the whole sheet over and you're not even on that original list. So, I mean, it took the whole first half for me to get through our openers, that's really the exploratory point of how are they going to. I have all kinds of things built in there from play pass to drop back to formations to different shifts and motions, and I gotta shorten that a little bit. I think just so I can get to because we've been really good in the second half. Once we figure out how they're playing it and what they're doing, we've been able to pin our ears back and be a much more efficient offense. So I do think early on I kind of like where we've been at because I have a lot of control over it. And then after that, I'm calling what's working at that point, and if nothing's working, I'm going to keep spraying the infield and try to find something that we can get an advantage on. But early on, I'm definitely very, very important. I try to be 50-50. And then once you have confidence and you see what's working and how the game's playing out, I never really look at run pass at the end. just early on. I'd love to be a 50-50 if everything's cooking, you know. But in the meantime, you got to have that team that can do everything really efficiently. But we're trying to build on our play pass game, our movement game, our drop back game, and hopefully that's only going to make our run game better, right?
Last question, Matt.
Hey Tim, Matt McGowan with the Daily Island. So Luke Lachey, second leading receiver on the team. What do you see from him as he's made his way back from injury, and what do you envision his role on this team going in?
Yeah, just keep expanding it, right? You know, I thought we had actually some good things. We didn't bear fruit in week 2 for him down in the red zone, where we got him in some good situations and we didn't throw accurate footballs to him, you know, where he could make, you know, he's so good at making competitive catches. And I got to do a better job of continuing. I mean, he's still top. I mean, he's in every progression. He's always 1 or 2. I guess sometimes he's 3, but he's normally 1 or 2. I think the biggest thing is he's getting into shape. Coming back from a major injury, you know, we played him slowly, and we're slowly giving him more reps in practice, and he's getting his wind back so he can play longer. We've rotated a lot early on this is a long season, and he's one of our most important players on our football team and one of our best leaders. And so, you know, his role is going to continue to grow. He's getting more and more comfortable within the offense, and we have to continue to find ways to get him the ball, you know, naturally and some by design as well. So, but I'm happy with what he's doing, and he's really blocking well right now. I mean, he's doing a great job. It's been fun to watch him. You know, I don't know any of these guys, so I didn't get to see him in the spring either. So he's coming back from injury, and I'm seeing him block for the first time, and it was okay, but he's really moving people right now. So that's going to give him a lot more opportunity when it does come to play, pass, and boot. You know, when he's a force in the run game. So it'll be fun to watch him continue to grow in the offense.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.